We're back here. We're back here live at Moscone Center at the SFA news area. And, you know, people are talking a lot about plant-based foods. There's no question that plant-based is something that's important, but also there's another technology that's out there that is equally as important and probably even a little sexier, and that's cell-based technology. David is with me, David Kay from Memphis Meats. You might remember about a year ago, the founder of Memphis Meats was with us. And unlike Impossible Foods or Beyond Meat, they're not actually taking plants and trying to make them like burgers. Memphis is actually getting animal cells and growing meat from cells.
Absolutely, that is exactly right, Phil.
So give us the overview of why Memphis Meats wants to take this approach and what are the benefits to this approach for the environment, for consumers.
Absolutely, yeah, and maybe before I do that, it'd be helpful just to kind of lay out exactly what the approach is. Mm-hmm. So as you said, we start with cells. We obtain a small number of animal cells from high quality livestock animals. And we figure out which of those cells are most capable of self-renewal, of giving us the tastes and textures and aromas that we're looking for. And we take those cells and we grow them, instead of inside an animal's body, we grow them inside of what we're calling cultivators, which if you've ever been to a beer brewery, it's similar to the tanks that exist in there. And what happens inside those cultivators is we're essentially feeding the cells nutrients, amino acids, water, sugar, etc. And the cells grow and multiply, and once they've grown sufficiently, we can harvest them and cook them and prepare them the same way you would conventionally produce meat. So
let me just interrupt so people understand. So we're not talking about growing a cow.
Correct.
What we're talking about is growing different pieces of meat, whether it's for ground beef, whether it's a steak, whatever. Describe to us some of those products, what they look like.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, the products look like, they're real meat. So they look like the meat products that everybody is familiar with. With respect to the products that we have publicly unveiled, in early 2016, we unveiled the beef meatball. Since then, we have also unveiled chicken and duck as well. But there's really no limit to the types of meat that you'll be able to produce using this technological platform. And so that's something that we're really excited about.
So tell us what you can't tell us about. What are some of the new things that you think that this kind of cellular technology can lead to for us?
I mean, any meat product you can imagine is something that we can produce. And I think that given the challenges that the world is facing in terms of meat demand expecting to double by 2050 and just the limited amount of natural resources we have on this planet to produce that meat, everything is going to have to be available in cell-based form, I think.
So, you know, what I'm sure a lot of people wonder about are three things. Taste, okay, number one, health, number two, and price.
Absolutely.
Tell us about all three of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're absolutely right. Taste is one of the, if not the most important things in any food product that goes out there. And for us, we've had a lot of really promising results from early taste tests. We've done hundreds of tastings now, mostly with folks who are kind of hardcore carnivores and love their meat.
Sure.
And they immediately
recognize
recognize
they're the strictest judges.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah. And they immediately recognize our products as meat, and they say they taste delicious. So that's promising.
Okay.
I think on the second piece was health, I believe. Yeah, so we expect some interesting public health benefits with respect to these products. So for instance, most of the bacterial contamination associated with conventionally produced meat occurs at the point of slaughter.
Right.
And because
E. coli and all these reports that we have time and time again, and unfortunately a lot of people have died as a result of it. So from a food safety standpoint, you've got that nailed.
Exactly. We aim to produce food that has a lower risk of harmful bacterial contamination, and that's one of the reasons why so many folks are excited about this process. On the price front,
before we leave health, so there's certain species like bison, which is lower in fat than cows or beef. So Are there any attributes from a health standpoint, whether it's increasing certain vitamins, decreasing fat, or are you looking at any of those attributes?
Yeah, I don't want to make any promises for our first products, but in theory, all of that is possible. And so I think there's absolutely research opportunities to explore ways to change nutrient profiles for meat products. But I wouldn't want to make any promises on that just because it's still fairly
Being
early
worked
days.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably secret.
It's not secret. It's just a matter of, where are we focusing our energy and resources.
Sure. And then last, price.
Yeah, so that is one of the major focuses of our company. I'd say price and scale are probably the two areas where a majority of our resources and staff time, et cetera, are going into. So the products aren't quite ready for market yet, and we're still, one of the factors there is cost of production. But we've made some really significant progress coming down the cost curve, and we're confident that we'll get there.
So I remember when we spoke to you all last time, and I don't remember the exact number, but a burger or a meatball would be costing like 60 grand because of the development phase. So obviously, with scale, with everything else, do you envision a time where your products, Memphis meat products, are going to be, equal to the other meat products that are out there?
Absolutely. And I think the reason why we expect that to happen is because the same reason that we expect to use less natural resources as inputs into the process, we also expect once we achieve a certain amount of scale and once we have sufficiently optimized our process at scale, we should be able to compete with conventionally produced meat on price as well.
And certainly major benefits to the environment.
Yeah. So, it's early days. There are some independent researchers out there who have projected that at scale, our products would require up to 10 times less land and water and emit up to 10 times fewer greenhouse gas emissions. Now, of course, these are projections for what it'll look like at scale, so we haven't reached that level of efficiency yet. But we do strongly believe that the ultimate beneficiary of our process will be the planet.
And certainly no methane.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what I think. Less greenhouse gas emissions is something that would absolutely be the case.
Well, David, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work. I can't wait till you invite me in to taste one of the meatballs.
Yes, we'll have to have you by sometime soon.
Would love to.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. We're going to take a break. Coming back, a lot more from the show floor right here at the Fancy Food Show at Moscone Center.